Hello, darklings, lightlings, and hybrids, and everyone else. How are you today? I hope you're well. I'm pretty well. I'm pretty good. I can't complain. So, it is nice to meet you through this hashtag if, you found me through it. I know I've met a lot of really cool people that I've never come across before in the other hashtag we're doing, the Neo-Pagan November from the Sunshine State Witch. And I just want to say it's lovely to meet all of you. And if you're new here, consider subscribing, man. Love to have you. And if you're joining me again, what's up, my people? We are doing a hashtag I come across. And I thought that these questions were excellent and an excellent way for while we're getting to know each other to actually get to know each other in our practice and what we do, what we're about as far as our craft goes. I'm sorry for the little bit of noise in the background. Floki, my dog, he's kind of playing with his toys. But anyway, creator of this tag, hashtag TradWitchTag, is from Mnomquah's channel, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, but her link will be in the description. And let's get right into it, guys. So number one, what kind of craft do you practice? Folk, traditional, Wicca, modern, ceremonial, eclectic, occultism, etc. I could consider myself, okay, I don't really care for labels because I don't think I fit into just one box, but dominantly Norse Luciferian with eclectic tendencies who loves occultism and ceremonial and ritual magic. So that is, yes, if I had to choose, that'd be a very long title, but that is what I practice. And number two, what paradigm, faith, or philosophy informs your craft? Now that's a really good question. There are a lot of like philosophies or ideas that kind of inform my craft. I also tend to create my own. For example, I like to look into everything in every single pantheon and try to connect dots to my own theories or philosophies or ideas of these gods, goddesses, beings are kind of the same energies talked about throughout the centuries in different cultures around the world. And I feel like if I'm working with one on this pantheon, it's a certain perceived energy. However, that same energy can be worked with across the pantheons. I hope that makes sense. And then to take that idea further, because of a lot of things I've read or looked into, I feel like they are higher dimensional, interdimensional beings or extraterrestrials. And we can work with them for our evolution of knowledge, spiritual work, energy work, quantum level work, and it helps towards our ascension and magical paths. That's like my own idea and kind of where I pull my craft from. So when I do a ritual, I am invoking essentially what I would call a higher dimensional being to come into my realm and to work with me and teach me knowledge for my higher learning for ascension. That's how I view it. I know there's others out there that view it similarly or the same way, and then there are people that completely disagree, and that's okay if you don't think the gods are ETs. And then I believe above that we have the creator, which we all are parts of. And the creator is pretty much just the collective of everything of spirit, the great spirit, in existence, the all. I hope that made sense. We could be here all day talking about that. All right, number 3. What cultures is your practice rooted in? So, uh, Scandinavian Norse cultures. Also, a bit of Celtic, I would say. Native, some Native American, and Germanic. Number 4. How long have you been practicing and how did it all start? So I was around 14ish. I had went to certain churches or studied with certain religious groups, and it just did not satisfy me. They were telling me, that because I see the dead or struggle with these certain spiritual issues that I was born with, it always affected me my entire life, and which is what got me seeking on a spiritual path, because that told me, hey, there's more out there, right? There's got to be more to all this. I wanted answers and the truth and knowledge. I am a knowledge whore. So they're telling me I'm evil or possessed, or, and then on the other hand, you got science saying that I am just crazy or insane. And I started looking towards the occult for answers. It started with Wicca. I was 14ish, 15. I also did have a friend that was satanic, so was her parents, and they had showed me quite a few things that were interesting. At the time, I wasn't interested in the satanic path, but I did take the knowledge of what they told me and other things into my little vault here. After that, I started practicing more of what you would call the traditional side of witchcraft, and was like a gray traditional witch for many, many moons, up until probably 5-ish years ago, when I went completely into the left hand path, more towards like Luciferianism, and also Solomon magic. And then I ended up, through past life regressions and gaining memories of lives in Scandinavia, or it could have even been like ancestral memories. Who knows? What guides my spiritual compass is, if I feel pulled to it, I go. That is kind of my entire motto. If it calls me, I go. That I just go head first and deep dive into what I'm called or pulled to. And it has served me very well. Now I do mainly Norse practice, but I still also work on the left-hand path side. So, number 5, what books or resources have you first started with? What would you recommend them, or would you recommend them to others today? So sorry about Floki playing around. So books, gosh, I've read so many. What I started with was like pretty much anything I could find. Back then, there wasn't a whole lot of resources, but they did have some books at the library on like Wicca and stuff. However, I think it's a good place to start, but there's so many books out there. My advice would be to, whatever you are pulled or called to, or try to study many different types of traditions or pantheons or practices, paths. Study as many as you can, and esoteric, occult knowledge, and go from there. Go where you're called to, and read the books or find books based on that. I can give you recommendations of good books that I like. So the Dark Arts, the Kabbalion, Aleister Crowley's works, Rudolf Steiner, the Norse sagas and Prosetas, Secret Teachings of All Ages, the Satanic Bible, the Hebrew Bible, all lore and mythology, anything you can read on those. A lot of them are heavily symbolic for things that could serve you on your practice. The Lost Book of Inky, the Book of the Dead, Lesser Keys of Solomon, Enochian magic stuff. Uh, that's just a little example of what I just never stop looking and seeking, and read and find what you are interested in, because if you're pulled to something, you're pulled to it for a reason. Number 6, how has your practice changed over the years, if at all? I answered that, I believe, which I'd forgotten that was a future question. But yeah, always changing. I mean, right now I'm where I'm at, and in the future it may be subject to change again. Verse 7, what does your daily regular practice look like, and what do you do on a regular basis? All right, so I do love to do readings or divinations daily for things I'm seeking. Right now, I'm really big on communications between other beings or deities and spirits and myself. I'm really big on ritualistic magic, and I've been doing a lot of ancestral work lately. Besides all of that, I am getting into draconic magic path workings right now as well. Um, I'm really on the road of seeking the serpent, the dragon, and the symbology in that, and what knowledge I can gain from my dragon guides. Number 8. Are there aspects of your craft that you need to keep secret? In your opinion, is secrecy important in witchcraft? So, in my opinion, I do feel like secrecy has its places in witchcraft. Do I need to keep certain things secret? Absolutely. I live in a very religious area. They're not as open minded in some places still as I would hope people to be. Also, be silent. I have been a firm believer in that for a while. I don't think we need to keep everything silent. However, I'm not revealing anything, especially on my channel, um, that I haven't already concluded, if that makes sense. So if I'm working on something, or a path working or a spell, or until that is already concluded and done, out of the way, I'm not sharing it. Also, there is so much I haven't shared. Um, Mainly because I'm not sure if I should. I'm not sure how people would take it. I'm not sure how attacked or judged I could be. You know, people, which I know is a part of YouTube or being on social media, but also I'm kind of at peace with keeping certain things to myself. Now, not everybody feels the same way, and that's okay. On the left hand path, working with, demons and other things, there's a lot of cool stuff I'd love to share, but some of it still is also incomplete, and I'm still working on that too. So, that being said, probably wouldn't share that until it's over with, said and done. What I have shared is like kind of these big revelations that I found or in my experience while working with these entities. And I appreciate everybody's comment when it comes to like talking about their experiences. I've gotten them where I'll say, oh, Beelzebub showed me this, or oh, my incubi showed me this, or I went through this experience, and I'll get comments, well, it's actually this way, and when you work with them, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't think it's as cut and dry as that. Now, when I am done with my path working, I may compare my similarities to yours, and it may be so, but it isn't so for everybody. And I think that's just something we have to understand. Number 9, what are some of your favorite tools that you use regularly? A lot of divination tools. My black mirror, too. Of course, my Athame. Love that. No, I don't necessarily need the tools, but I like the tools and to do these elaborate rituals personally for myself, because it helps me get into that trance. It helps me get ready. It helps me visualize. It helps me be able to practice my craft very artist way, I guess. I don't know what you I'm just weird. But I feel like we don't really have to have all this stuff to make our magic work. I like it personally. So, robes, candles, my crystals, my scrying ball, fire. Love fire all the time with everything. Wand I like to use. I do want to create a staff though. I think that would just be badass. And of course, my own Book of Shadows is probably my best tool. I consume so much knowledge and information. I have so many grimoires, it's ridiculous. But I consume so much information all the time that I forget a lot as well. So when I'm working on something or want to go back to something, I'll refer to my grimoires. That's probably my most used tool. Incense, too. Yes, gosh, incense. 10. What books or resources would you recommend to newbie witches interested in your kind of craft? Uh, I'd look into the older sources first and take things with a grain of salt. What doesn't resonate with you, leave. What does, write down. Um, Again, I told you about my opinions with the books. Read whatever you're pulled to. For my path specifically, I do recommend, go back to the oldest sources that you can find. Like for the Norse, that would be the Eddas, the sagas, um, which you probably have to dig further than that too. I have with other channels of like people who've studied it, know the language, and actually have worked on things like that. Also, again, mythologies. As far as demons go, um, I would very much try to understand. You need to take religion completely out of it. Everything you've ever been told about demons, I would push it all away. Luciferian points of power ritual, do a reverse programming ritual of some kind, burn a Bible if you have to. Just try to work on deprogramming what you were taught about evil and such. Now, do you have to heed working with these entities? Yes, you do. That's any entity, including deities, including spirits. Okay, they are kind of like us, and some of them have different natures. Videos and watching other people's experiences with these entities is a good note, to take while if you're thinking about working with them. Look up some of the like I would just deprogram yourself and then come up with your own conclusions. Dive into old texts, old books on like Solomon magic. And now this is before you actually work with them. And there are a lot of occult books out there from people who work on the left hand path. Just try to, like I said, take what resonates with you, shove out what doesn't, because one person I could work with Ball and you can work with Ball, he'll appear completely different to us, and the path working may have similarities, but your experience with this entity may be completely different than mine. They very much react off our energy as well and will match or outmatch it. So that would be my advice for that. All right, this was a really fun tag, and I love you guys. See you later.